The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Alright, we're back with our next D&D movie time for Star Wars month. Bringing you Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, of course, just watched the first one. And are you looking forward to the second one?
Yes.
So, I'm going to tell you that this takes place 10 years, I believe, after the first movie. So they had to get a different actor for Anakin to age him up 10 years because it only took them 3 years to make the movie. So, but yep, 10 years go by and we're going to pick up where like Anakin's already been training with Obi-Wan and hopefully you'll start to remember the names. You give me crap about not being good with names and you can't remember Anakin or Obi-Wan's name. Or Padmé or Amidala. Either one will work. But we'll see how you do after this movie. So, alright. With that said, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. Are you excited? See where it goes?
Yes.
Alright. Let's go. See you after the movie.
Bye.
It's a great pleasure to see you again, lady.
It's been far too long, Master Kenobi. Annie? My goodness, you've grown.
So have you. You've grown more beautiful, I mean. Just being around her again is intoxicating. Be mindful of your thoughts, Anakin. They betray you. You have made a commitment to the Jedi Order, a commitment not easily broken.
Please don't look at me like that.
Why not?
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Sorry, my lady.
Must be difficult having sworn your love to the Jedi. Not being able to do the things you like.
Or be with the people that I love.
Are you allowed to love? I thought that's forbidden for a Jedi. You're making fun of me.
No, I'd be much too frightened if you the Senator. I could keep it a secret.
I'd be living a lie. I couldn't do that. Could you, Anakin?
She's a politician and they're not to be trusted. I've heard this lesson before. You haven't learned anything, Anakin. It's all Obi-Wan's fault. He's holding me back.
You're not all powerful.
Well, I should be. Someday I will be the most powerful Jedi ever.
Alright, so we just finished Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And because Cora took way too long last time, I'm just going to blaze through it this time. Cora can make comments as we go through each section, but... So the Senator arrives back on Coruscant. She's no longer Queen of Naboo. Being Queen is much like the way presidents are in our world. They're voted in rather than like the way normally we understand kings and queens. Like they don't come from familiar power.
They're voted.
Yeah, they're voted like Democrats or Republicans. But anyways, so her 2 terms were up. And now someone's trying to kill her. So the Senate / Senator Palpatine, or Chancellor Palpatine now, he gives them an idea to have like Jedi protect her. And they bring in Obi-Wan, who of course brings in Anakin. Anakin still has feelings for Padme after 10 years. And there's a lot of weird stuff that kind of goes on when they first meet. But then ultimately someone tries to take her out again. They track down the bounty hunter. Well, technically the bounty hunter's assistant. And she ends up getting killed by the bounty hunter. So the bounty hunter sucks at killing its actual target, but it could definitely kill its own person. But then they end up finding with the little piece that killed the assistant that it's from a planet that's been deleted from the archives. And they make this big deal about the planet being deleted from the archives. And I feel like, okay, that means at some point that's just kind of obvious that it was deleted. And the fact that nobody believes that that's possible seems even more like weird. I think it was just a little bit of bad writing there. But anyways, moving on.
Plus, I completely forgot during the end that was even part of the movie. It was barely brought up. Barely.
I think George Lucas only did that to really try to pad the runtime. I mean, there was so much more they could have done, but I figure this is his way of trying to pad the runtime. Like I said, I mean, a lot of people give Disney flack for a lot of the decisions that Disney makes, and I'm rewatching these with you, and I'm just thinking, wait a minute, we get flack in the Boba Fett series for a biker gang that has rainbow colored bikes, or going to this location which looks a lot like this thing or that thing, but we got a freaking cafe that looks like a soda shop cafe from the 50s, and everybody's just like, oh yeah, I'm cool with that. And it's just like, they all take their turns wanting to put in little things, and it's like, whatever. That's why I said it. When people argue with me, it does feel like Star Wars because George Lucas was doing this stuff. But moving on, Obi-Wan ends up tracking the bounty hunter down on this planet that, I swear it must rain all the time, and it looks like it's covered in all oceans. But he ends up tracking the bounty hunter down, and meanwhile, Anakin is taking Padme back to her home planet. They stay there for a few days, and then up and decide to go to Tatooine because he had a bad dream, even though apparently he's been having these bad dreams for a while. And they take a ship to go save his mom. And I mean, that only brought up to me, though, as we were watching it, like, I mean, this is a little bit of spoilers for you, Cora, but it's like, wait a minute. Owen not only met R2-D2 before, but he lived with freaking C-3PO for like so many years. How did he not recognize 3PO immediately? I mean, granted, I know why, because, again, somewhat bad writing.
3PO?
Yes, the robot. Human-cyborg relations. I'm quite beside myself. This is such a drag. That robot. Anyways. But yeah, Owen and Bree were around 3PO for at least 9 years or so. Since Shmi was bought by, I'm guessing, his dad. And she was set free and they got married. But then she went missing a month ago because Tusken Raiders took her. So about probably a little over 8 years, maybe not exactly 9, because it's been 10 years. So, I mean, 8 or 9 years they've been living with 3PO. So they should have recognized him right away in episode 4. Which makes it even more weird when the first thing Owen says to him. But anyways, moving on. So ultimately, Anakin goes out on his own to find his mom. He ends up doing that. And she dies almost immediately. Which basically means whether he went to look for her or not, she was going to die then anyway. So, and that triggers Anakin and turns him evil for a while. I mean, however long it took to kill the entire camp of Tusken Raiders. We only see a little bit of it, but he talks about it with Padme, and then right after, like, oh, well, now we gotta go save Obi-Wan, because meanwhile, Obi-Wan confronted the bounty hunter, tracked the bounty hunter to the Geonosian planet, and then Jango Fett tried to eliminate, yeah, and by the way, we find out his name is Jango Fett at this point. And, basically, they're going to a planet where all these other groups have come together to kind of build an army. And they're building a massive droid army. And the only one on the fence is the Trade Federation, who's kind of the whole reason this thing started. So that was a little weird too. Like, they're the main, like, they were the reason everybody's, you know, teaming up like this. And yet they're the last ones willing to come to the table. That makes no sense. They should have been like the first ones at the table. Because the entire reason that the Separatists are angry is because of how the Trade Federation was treated in the previous movie. So anyways, they capture Obi-Wan, they capture Padme, they capture Anakin, and they put him in this like arena, and as they're trying to execute him by feeding him to 3 random creatures, that's when the reinforcements arrive, because Jar Jar gave emergency powers to the Chancellor, and the Chancellor said, oh, well, now I'm going to make this army for the Republic, which honestly the Republic should have had an army of its own to begin with, so they could enforce their rules. So I completely agree with Anakin on this situation. But anyways, so backup arrives, all hell breaks loose. Count Dooku tries to get away with some secret plans. Obi-Wan and Anakin chase after him. Yoda feels a disturbance in the Force and goes to follow. Anakin gets disarmed, quite literally, in the fight, and Obi-Wan is injured after doing so well against Darth Maul in the previous movie. I mean, 2 hits and basically Obi-Wan was down. But then Yoda shows up, gives us probably one of my most, honestly, badass lightsaber battles of all time. Until the next movie. That's the only one that I think is more badass than this one. But,
I just want to say something real quick. That fight could honestly ended in 10 seconds. Because that dude is like this tall. Yoda's like this tall.
yeah, but you know how hard it is to catch something that's smaller than you, faster than you,
Exactly.
able to move at a way quicker pace and get out of the way?
Exactly. If I was Yoda, I would literally just go behind him, cut off his legs. That's how you do. Cut off his legs.
Yoda was fast, but because he's old, he's not that fast. He's just able to avoid.
He can still cut off his legs.
But anyways, so yeah, basically Count Dooku, for some reason, just up and quits the fight, and then decides to bail. Even though, like, rewatching that fight, I'm like, wait, that fight just suddenly ended. Like, there was no reason for him to just, I'm gonna run away now. But, yeah, he just runs away, goes to Coruscant unchallenged, and delivers the plans to Darth Sidious, who we don't know who that is yet.
Darth Vader.
Well, why do you keep saying Darth Vader? There's no one called Darth Vader. There's Darth Vader, but Darth Vader is not even a thing yet. Well, you was really, you've seen images of Darth Vader. Does anybody in there look like Darth Vader? No. Miss, I keep closing my eyes every time somebody kisses in a movie. You weirdo.
I'm not closing my eyes. I'm doing this.
Yeah, that's essentially closing your eyes.
It's not
I told you can watch people kiss. It's a PG movie, Laura.
It's gross.
Anyways, but so then we see the full scale of the clone army, and it is essentially the first gen of what will become the Stormtroopers. So, alright, that was Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will give our final thoughts and scores.
Bye.
In the glow of Christmas lights we dream, shame the Santa whisper secrets untold. Together we embark on the quest supreme to free a legend from this icy hole. Through the mountains, our spirits rise. We'll break the chains, we'll find our way with courage strong and hope to stay. Together we'll ignite the magic within, unlock the power, let the journey begin. The elemental storms rage as we chase the sun. Fire and ice seek to tear us apart. With courage as a shield, we will not run. Burning waves to guide our leader hearts. In shadows we stand. United we fight. We'll break the chains, we'll find our way. With courage strong and hope to stay. Together we'll ignite the magic within. Unlock the power, let the journey begin. With Merlin's wisdom, we'll rise and soar. In this epic tale, we are forevermore.
Alright, so, Cora, starting with you. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. What would you give this
7
one?
out of 10.
Why 7 out of 10?
Because Because it was good, but like you said, bad way, and most scenes won't mention half of it. Most scenes were just felons. And this is supposed to be something about the Clone Wars.
Oh, it's Attack of the Clones. And by the end of the movie, the clones did attack.
Yeah, but...
Although, granted, the title does give a more ominous, like, villainous feel for the clones.
Yeah, but the clones were barely mentioned yesterday upon part of the movie. They were mentioned.
Well, the clones are talked about a lot. Not those specific clones, but the clones are brought up quite a bit.
Through most of the movie, but they were barely brought up.
But they're only in like a third of the movie, I'll give you that much.
Yeah, exactly.
They are only in a third, but the talk about them, the ability to have a clone army is what Kate's getting talked about. But that politics stuff was probably going over your head since you're a child. Now, when you get to be my age and you rewatch these, you're going to probably pick up on a lot more of this politic talk.
I saw if you call me short, that's why I went over my head. I went...
I'm talking about your age.
There's Among Us or Attack.
Okay, stop. I'm talking about your age. Put it down. I'm talking about your age because when I was a kid, if I saw this when I was your age at 10 years old, all that stuff probably would have went over my head.
Okay.
A lot of the politics stuff from the originals went over my head too until I became an adult. So, you were just in it for the action. And there was a lot of times there was no action. But anyways, let's move on. Who is your favorite character in this one?
Yoda.
Yoda?
Nothing else to say, Yoda.
Okay, favorite scene?
Actually, no, 3DO. Whatever was the...
C-3PO?
Yeah, 3PO.
Why C-3PO?
Guess he's funny.
Is he like a shiny Sheldon? Anyways, what was your favorite scene?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay. That's weird. I mean, I would figure you just remember, like, the first scene that pops into your head is probably your favorite scene. But apparently nothing's popping into your head. So anyways, alright, is there anything else you want to say? Anything you really liked or disliked about this?
Among Us.
That's nothing to do with Star Wars.
Among Us.
Anyways, moving on to my score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this an 8. It was a slightly, it is slightly better than Phantom Menace, and I gave that a 7. And so, moving up, it does do, there is a lot more action. It pulls back from the being childish with the child stuff a lot more since Anakin's now grown up, and they even did tone back Jar Jar Binks quite a bit, even though he still is in the movie. It's not to the point where it's like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. But I think they also utilized Jar Jar Binks, the fact that people didn't like him and how dumb of a character that he really was, to go ahead and put the events in motion that are going to lead to him basically giving Palpatine emergency powers and the creation of the clone army. So everything can be like, oh, because he was just so dumb, that's why. And that's why we really needed him in the original, or in episode 1. And that's why we played up the dumbness. I know there's a lot of people that always talk about the Jar Jar Binks being a Sith, and that would be kind of a cool idea if they did do that, but at this point it's just like, no. But anyways, that is gonna go ahead and wrap up. By the way, my favorite scene, if you guys didn't know, I think I said it earlier. My favorite scene, by the way, if you guys didn't know I said it earlier, but it would be the fight between Count Dooku and Yoda. So, alright, that is going to go ahead and wrap up this review. We will see you in the next one where we will be reviewing Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.